All right, everyone, get ready for another deep dive. Today, we're going all in on Ride BNB 2.0.
Right, BNB 2.0.
Yeah, you know that platform that everyone's talking about in crypto and network marketing circles?
Yeah.
Well, our deep dive today is going to be based on an exclusive interview with Rajiv Mehra.
Yeah, he's just
a prominent Indian businessman who's actually at the heart of this whole Ride BNB project.
That's right.
And let me tell you, the potential here is huge. We're talking about the successor to Ride BNB 1.0, which, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Helped users earn over 1 crore worth of BNB in just 120 days.
That's 10 million for those of us who
That's 10 million.
don't speak Hindi.
For those of us that don't know.
Yeah.
The Indian
Numeral system.
So millions of US dollars just like that.
And credit, in just 4 months.
I know. So naturally 2.0 is causing a stir.
It's got people talking, for sure.
Yeah.
And we want to get to the bottom of this. How did Ride BNB 1.0 achieve those results? What has got everyone so excited about this new version? And what does this all mean for you, the listener? Those are the big questions we're going to try and answer today.
Exactly. So rewind with me to 2022.
Okay.
The crypto landscape was a completely different beast back then. But even in that Wild West world, Ride BNB 1.0 really took off. And Mehra actually points to this innovative smart contract structure as a key reason why.
Yeah, it's so easy for people to just sort of gloss over terms like smart contracts, but they really were a game changer for Ride BNB 1.0. So imagine like a traditional contract, but instead of lawyers and all that paperwork and time and money, it's all automated, right? It's executed by code on the blockchain. So every transaction, every reward was all handled transparently and automatically, no middlemen, no funny business. And you can imagine how appealing that would be, especially back then.
Okay, so that's a big part of why 1.0 gained so much traction. But 2.0 is taking things even further, right?
It is.
What's making this such a hot topic?
Well, one of the biggest developments is the move to the BNB blockchain.
Okay, I knew this was coming.
Blockchain jargon.
It can be a bit much.
I know. But stick with me on this one. Think of it like this, right? Most blockchains are like those old dial-up modems. Slow and clunky.
The worst.
BNB is more like fiber optic internet.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Right. Way more transactions at lightning speed. And that is crucial for a platform like Ride BNB that depends on fast, seamless transactions.
Wait, so does that mean it's cheaper to use? Because I know those gas fees on other blockchains can really eat into your earnings.
You are right on the money there. Gas fees on BNB are significantly lower. Plus, this blockchain is built for what they call layer 2 scaling, which basically means it can handle a ton of transactions without getting bogged down. So it's a perfect match for a platform that wants to go mainstream.
Okay, so lower fees, faster transactions. Who wouldn't want that? But Mehra also talked about Ride BNB 2.0 being 100% decentralized. So what does that mean for the average user, besides sounding really cool and techie?
Well, it is more than just buzzwords. So in a decentralized system, there's no single entity. No one is calling the shots. So with Ride BNB 2.0, the platform's rules and operations are all governed by the community through those smart contracts we were talking about before.
Okay.
So it's less vulnerable to manipulation, to censorship, or the whims of some central authority. So theoretically, you, the user, have more control.
So it's kind of like the difference between a traditional bank where they make all the rules.
Right.
And a decentralized platform where the power is distributed.
You got it.
Among the users.
Among the users, exactly. And this all ties into another key feature of Ride BNB 2.0. Super fast withdrawals.
Ooh, I like that.
We're talking seconds, not days.
Wow, seconds.
No more waiting around for your money to move around. Plus, they've added all these new advanced analytics tools so you can easily track your earnings and activity on the platform.
That makes sense.
So it's all about user empowerment.
Okay. This is starting to sound pretty compelling, I got to admit. Especially with the mobile friendliness.
Yeah.
For those of us who are always on the go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's always a but, right?
Right.
What about the potential downsides?
Yeah.
We have to be realistic here.
You're absolutely right. We need to approach all this with a critical eye and ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
Because while decentralization has a lot of benefits, it also means there's no central authority to turn to if something goes wrong. You're relying on the network.
That's a good point. And let's not forget that this is still the world of cryptocurrency.
Right.
We've all seen how volatile that market can be. What are some other risks that we should be thinking about?
Well, for one,
Yeah.
we need to talk about the network marketing aspect.
Right.
because that comes with its own set of potential red flags. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've all heard those horror stories about pyramid schemes,
Yeah.
aggressive recruitment tactics, all that. But to be fair, network marketing itself isn't inherently bad.
No,
It's a legitimate business model when done ethically.
exactly. The key is transparency.
So how does Ride BNB 2.0 address that need for transparency?
Well, actually, the decentralized nature of the platform really comes into play here.
Okay.
Because everything is run on these transparent, publicly auditable smart contracts.
Right.
It's a lot harder to hide shady dealings.
Right, yeah.
You can literally see the code that governs the entire system.
Okay.
But you're right, you can't just assume everything's above board. You have to do your research, look into the company, the team behind it, their track record, all that due diligence.
Okay, speaking of the team, Mara emphasized this idea of building an ecosystem rather than just a platform.
Right.
What does that mean in the context of Ride BNB?
He's talking about creating this community where users can learn, connect, and support each other.
Okay.
It's fostering this sense of shared purpose. It's creating an environment where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. Think of it like this. You could have the most amazing high-tech car in the world, but without roads and infrastructure, it's not going to get you very far.
Oh, yeah, I like that analogy.
So the ecosystem is like the infrastructure.
Okay,
That enables the platform to actually thrive.
got it. So it's not just about individual gains, it's about building a community that benefits everyone.
Exactly, precisely. And that's where the network marketing aspect comes in. It incentivizes users to share the platform with others, grow the community, and ultimately everyone benefits from the expanded network. But again, this has to be done ethically, without resorting to high-pressure tactics or unrealistic promises.
And what about the individual user? I mean, what's the message that Mara is sending to someone who's hearing about Ride BNB for the first time and they're like, okay, this sounds interesting, is this right for me?
His message is actually pretty simple. You can achieve big dreams with a small investment. So he's emphasizing accessibility
Right.
and the potential to create real change in your financial life.
I mean, that's a message that resonates with a lot of people, right? Especially
Yeah.
people who are feeling a little disillusioned with traditional financial systems.
Sure.
But I think it's important for us to remind our listeners that there's no such thing as a guaranteed path to financial freedom.
Absolutely. Any investment, especially in the crypto space, carries inherent risk. You have to be prepared for volatility, market fluctuations, and the possibility of losing some or even all of your investment. There's no magic formula.
Right.
It's about educating yourself, making informed decisions, and never investing more than you can afford to lose.
And I think that's a great segue into kind of these bigger questions we want to explore. We've talked about the features, the vision,
Yeah.
the potential risks. But what does Ride BNB 2.0 tell us about the future of finance? I mean, how could this platform, even with its risks, change the game for everyday people?
That's where it gets really fascinating, I think.
Yeah.
Ride BNB 2.0 is just one example of this much larger trend that we're seeing right now, which is the rise of decentralized systems
Right.
and the pursuit of economic empowerment. It's about shifting power away from those big centralized institutions and putting that power back in the hands of individuals.
So it's not just about making money.
Right.
It's about taking control of your own financial destiny.
Exactly. And that idea of financial freedom through a decentralized platform, it's incredibly appealing to a lot of people. It challenges traditional notions of how we earn money, how we invest, how we build wealth.
Yeah.
And platforms like Ride BNB 2.0, even though they're still in those early stages, I think they really do represent a potential paradigm shift
Yeah.
in how we think about economic opportunity.
So what are some of the long-term implications then of this shift?
Well, for one thing, it could lead to greater financial inclusion. So decentralized platforms have the potential to reach underserved populations, people who may not have access to those traditional banking systems. Think about the unbanked or underbanked communities all over the world.
Yeah, that's huge.
It could open up all these new financial possibilities for people who have been traditionally excluded.
Huh.
But of course, technology alone can't solve all the problems.
Right. Of course not. And we have to be realistic about the challenges too, right?
Yeah.
And the limitations. There's still questions about scalability, regulation, and making sure everyone has equitable access to these new financial systems.
For sure.
And we can't forget about the risks.
Of course.
As we talked about, crypto can be volatile, unpredictable.
Right.
But even with those caveats, I think it's undeniable that platforms like Ride BNB 2.0 are really pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
and forcing us to kind of reimagine what's possible. And they're starting important conversations about the future of finance and this idea of economic empowerment.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this deep dive so compelling, right? It's not just about understanding one platform. It's about exploring those larger trends and forces that are shaping the world around us. So, as we wrap up, what's that key message you want to leave our listeners with?
Stay curious, stay informed, and don't be afraid to ask those tough questions. You know, the world of cryptocurrency and decentralized finance, it's constantly evolving.
It is.
So it's up to each of us to really navigate that landscape with a critical and discerning eye.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
This is really just the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah.
And to help you all continue your exploration, we've included some links in the show notes to resources on the BNB blockchain, cryptocurrency, network marketing, and of course, Ride BNB itself.
Yeah, check them out.
So a huge thanks to you for joining us today on this deep dive. We're already excited about our next adventure into the world of knowledge and discovery. So until then, keep those brains buzzing, and we'll catch you on the next one. So we're talking about a paradigm shift, right? This move toward decentralization and giving people more control over their financial lives. That's a big idea, and Ride BNB 2.0 is like right there on the front lines. But what does that actually look like? You know, in practice, how could this platform, even with the risks, actually change things for everyday people?
Well, imagine for a second, a world where you don't need a bank account to be part of the global economy.
Okay.
You know, where you can send money anywhere in the world instantly for practically no fees. A world where your financial data is actually yours. You know, it's not controlled by some big corporation. I mean, that's the potential we're talking about.
I mean, it sounds almost utopian, but
Yeah.
I get it. Breaking down those barriers, empowering individuals, especially people that have been excluded from traditional finance.
Exactly. Think about what this could mean for entrepreneurs in developing countries or migrant workers sending money back home. Really, anyone who's ever felt kind of trapped, the limits of how things work right now. You know, Ride BNB 2.0, with its focus on accessibility and global reach, could be huge for those communities.
Yeah. But let's be real for a second. There are always challenges when you're trying to, disrupt the way things are. So what are some of the hurdles that Ride BNB 2.0 and this whole decentralized finance movement is going to have to overcome?
Well, regulation is a big one.
Right.
I mean, governments are still trying to figure out how to regulate cryptocurrency and these decentralized platforms. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that can make it tough for businesses to operate.
Yeah.
And for users to feel confident.
Yeah, and there are concerns about security and scalability too, right? I mean, can these decentralized networks actually handle the volume of transactions that a global financial system requires? That's a lot.
Those are really good questions, and developers are working hard to address them. We're seeing new tech and solutions popping up all the time, but it's going to take time, and there will definitely be bumps in the road.
And what about education? I mean, we've spent, this whole deep dive unpacking just one platform, but there's a lot to learn when it comes to crypto and blockchain and all this decentralized finance stuff. So how do we get more people up to speed so they can actually participate in this new world?
You're absolutely right. Education is key. We need to make these concepts easy to understand for everyone, not just the techie people who are already into it. So that means creating resources that are, clear and concise. It means building a culture of learning and maybe even rethinking how we teach finance and economics, in schools.
So for our listeners, what's the one thing they should be thinking about as they sort of wrap their heads around this whole idea of Ride BNB 2.0 and what this decentralized future could look like?
I'd say the most important thing is to be curious and informed. Do your research, ask questions, and don't be afraid to, challenge the status quo. The future of finance is being created right now, and we all have a part to play in making sure it benefits everyone.
I love that. This deep dive has been awesome.
It has.
We've really dug into the features, the vision, the risks, the potential of Ride BNB 2.0. But I think more importantly, we've started this conversation about what the future of finance could look like and the power of decentralization.
And this is just the beginning. The world of crypto and decentralized finance is constantly changing. So it's up to all of us to stay engaged, informed, and empowered to make the most of these new opportunities.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us for this deep dive into Ride BNB 2.0. We'll catch you on the next episode, where we'll be exploring another super fascinating topic at the crossroads of tech, innovation, and human experience. Until then, keep those brains buzzing.